Good morning, everyone. Yes, I still have the cold, but I feel much better today than I did yesterday. Spent most of it sleeping, or, yeah. So, what did I do with the children? Well, amazingly enough, heaven was with me, and it rained most of the day. So, it was really wet out there, and I say, guys, Rosie's not feeling well, and it's wet out there, and that. So how about we have a lazy day inside mostly? And that's what we did, and it was amazing. They were just. It's like they know Rosie's not feeling well, so let's do really well all together all day long, and they did. So it was great. Uh, and still had fun. Yes. My younger granddaughter would just periodically come and say, "Hey, Rosie, let's play this game. Let's play that game." So we ended up playing all kinds of games here, right here in my bed, and that was fun. And then, okay, so not much that was going on yesterday. As I said, I just rested most of the day, and I'm doing good. And though I was worried, I could tell that this cough went into my lungs. I'm going, ugh, no, it's going to take so long to, and I'm good today. So, resting, tea, yes, and I ate. I did. I believe that when you're sick, you should eat well as well. Okay. So let's get right to it here in the book of Esther. Uh, we're in 4. Mordecai and Esther tried to avert the danger. When Mordecai learned what had happened, he tore his garments and put on sackcloth and ashes. Well, what did he think was going to happen if he didn't comply? Then he walked into the center of the city, wailing loudly and bitterly, until he arrived in front of the chancellery, which no one clothed in sackcloth was allowed to enter. And in every province, no sooner had the royal command and edict arrived, than among the Jews there was great mourning, fasting, weeping, and wailing, and many lay on sackcloth and ashes. That itch. When Queen Esther's maids and officers came and told her she was overcome with grief, she sent clothes for Mordecai to put on instead of his sackcloth, but he refused them. Esther then summoned Hathach, an officer whom the king had appointed to wait on her, and ordered him to go to Mordecai and inquire what the matter was and why he was acting in this way. Oh, so she doesn't know yet? Hathach went out to Mordecai in the city square in front of the chancellery, and Mordecai told him what had happened to him personally, and also about the sum of money which Haman had offered to pay into the royal treasury to procure the destruction of the Jews. Yeah, but the king refused. So we're getting, tell the whole story. Also, I wonder if he told this officer then to go and talk to Esther about, yeah, and I kind of started this all because, right? I'm just saying. He also gave him a copy of the Edict of Extermination, published in Susa, for him to show Esther for her information, with the message that she was to go to the king and implore his favor and plead with him for the race to which she belonged. Remember your humbler circumstances, he said, when you were fed by my hand. What? Since Haman, the second person in the realm, has petitioned the king for our deaths, invoke the Lord, speak to the king for us, and save us from death. Okay, just saying here that now, first of all, also he brings up, oh, remember when you were under my care? I adopted. I mean, I get it, but again, where does Mordecai take any kind of responsibility here? Because as I said, who started this and why? Was Mordecai not? He's not some commoner that decided, oh, I'm not going to bow to this dude or whatever. No, he was also a higher up with, and in high regard, supposedly, with the king, as far as I'm gotten that from before. And so, you know, what, he didn't realize what might just happen? And if he refused to, okay, and I don't know, you live in another country, what are you going to go and tell everybody that, oh, it's going to go your way and not the king's way, or the second in command's king's way? Or, I'm just saying it. So, how is this actually told to Esther? Yes? What if Mordecai had just gone to the king and said, hey, look, I'm sorry. I did this, I know, and I just felt, then maybe tell the king, hey, why do I have to do that? What makes him? I'm supposed to honor you, and then I have our God. That. How about explain witnessing to the king instead of now he put his whole race in peril, right? Yes, but he's not taking responsibility for it. He's blaming somebody else. Are you getting this? I've said this before, and where's the root of the conflict come from? Oftentimes, that suddenly just doesn't exist anymore because nobody wants to just say, okay, that was my fault. That was my mistake. I did that. Yeah, you getting my drift here? All right. Well, let's see what else happens here. Hathach came back and told Esther what Mordecai had said, and she replied with the following message for Mordecai. Royal officials and people living in the provinces alike all know that for anyone, man or woman, who approaches the king in the private apartments without having been summoned there, there is only one law: he must die, unless the king, by pointing his golden scepter towards him, grants him his life. And I have not been summoned to the king for the last 30 days. Ooh, he's already tired of her. Okay, I'm just saying. These words of Esther were reported to Mordecai, who sent back the following reply: do not suppose that, because you are in the king's palace, you are going to be the one Jew to escape. No, if you persist in remaining silent at such a time, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another quarter, but both you and your father's whole family will perish. And now he's threatening her, and Mordecai's threatening her because she says, well, if I go in front of the king without being summoned, guess what? Okay, whatever, alright. Who knows? Perhaps you have come to the throne for just such a time as this. Whereupon Esther sent this reply to Mordecai: go and assemble all the Jews now in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink day or night for 3 days. For my part, I and my waiting women shall keep the same fast, after which I shall go to the king in spite of the law. And if I perish, I perish. Mordecai went away and carried out Esther's instructions. Okay, I could say a whole lot to this, but I'm not going to. It's just a tale. Mordecai's prayer. Then, calling to mind all the wonderful works of the Lord, he offered this prayer: Lord, Lord, Almighty King, everything is subject to your power, and there is no one who can withstand you in your determination to save Israel. You have made heaven and earth, and all the marvels that are under heaven. You are the master of the universe, and no one can resist you, Lord. You know all things. You, Lord, know that neither pride, self-esteem, nor vainglory prompted me to do what I have done. Really? What was it then? Because now he's not. To refuse to prostrate myself before proud Haman. Gladly would I have kissed the soles of his feet, had this assured the safety of Israel. Okay. But what I have done rather than place the glory of a man above the glory of God. And I shall not prostrate myself to anyone except Lord to you, and in so doing I shall not be acting in pride. Well, if you put your whole race in peril like this, right? As I said, he probably said, "Oh gosh, I'd never thought that would have that kind of repercussion," right? Yes, but then how do you fix it? You just go and okay, well, after all, Haman is just a second in command there. There's still the king above it. Okay, just saying. And what was his position? Mordecai's position there. He was acting in pride. He can't tell me he wasn't. And now, Lord God, King God of Abraham, spare your people, for our ruin is being plotted. There are plans to destroy your ancient heritage. Now they suddenly care again. Do not overlook your inheritance, which you redeemed from Egypt to be yours. Hear my supplication, have mercy on your heritage, and turn our grief into rejoicing, so that we may live, Lord. To him your name. Do not suffer the mouths of those who praise you to perish. All right. So pull God into it again when it is convenient, and yeah, suddenly everybody's, oh, we're looking at, oh. Okay, well, what would I have done? I don't know. It's just what it is here. And all Israel cried out with all their might, since death was staring them in the face. Esther's prayer. Queen Esther also took refuge with the Lord in the mortal peril which had overtaken her. She took off her sumptuous robes and put on sorrowful mourning. Instead of expensive perfume, she covered her head with ashes and dung. She mortified her body severely, and the former scenes of her happiness and elegance were now littered with tresses torn from her hair. She besought the Lord God of Israel in these words. And nobody noticed and went and told the king, hey, the queen is doing this. I don't know. My lord, our king, the only one, come to my help, for I am alone, and have no helper but you, and am about to take my life in my hands. I've been taught from infancy in the bosom of my family that you, Lord, have chosen Israel out of all the nations and our ancestors out of all before them to be your heritage forever, and that you have treated them as you promised. Again, so one-sided, right? What have the Israelites all done? Were they so committed to God? I'm just asking. But we have sinned against you. And you have handed us over to our enemies for paying honor to their gods. Lord, you are upright. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is a bit revealing. That we have sinned against you, and you have handed us over to our enemies for paying honor to their gods. Lord, you are upright. But they are not satisfied with the bitterness of our slavery. They have pledged themselves to their idols to abolish the decree that your own lips have uttered to blot out your heritage, to stop the mouths of those who praise you, and to quench your altar and the glory of your house, and instead to open the mouths of the heathen to sing the praise of worthless idols, and forever to idolize a king of flesh. Well, interesting on how the heritage thing is in both of these prayers, Mordecai's prayer and Esther's prayer, which seems a bit too convenient. Okay, well, anyway. As if they care now. Well, do not yield your scepter, Lord, to what does not exist. Never let our ruin be matter for laughter. Turn these plots against their authors, and make an example of the man who leads the attack on us. Remember, Lord, reveal yourself in a time of our distress. Oh gosh, I could say a whole lot to all this, but would it make sense? Besides, these are prayers. I said what I said about prayers. As for me, give me courage, King of gods and Master of all powers. Put persuasive words into my mouth when I face the lion. Change his feelings into hatred for our enemy. What? Change his feeling into hatred for our enemy, so that he may meet his end and all those like him. As for ourselves, save us by your hand, and come to my help, for I am alone, and have no one but you, Lord. I have knowledge of all things, and you know that I hate honors from the godless, that I loathe the bed of the uncircumcised of any foreigner whatever. You know I am under constraint, that I loathe the symbol of my high position bound round my brow. When I appear at court, I loathe it as if it were a filthy rag, and do not wear it on my days of leisure. Your servant has not eaten at Haman's table, nor taken pleasure in the royal banquets, nor drunk the wine of libations. Well, Queen Vashti, didn't she feel kind of the same way, I guess? Ooh. At one point, well, okay. Nor has your servant found pleasure from the day of her promotion until now, except in you, Lord God of Abraham. O God, whose strength prevails over all, listen to the voice of the desperate, save us from the hand of the wicked, and free me from my fear. Okay, this is the end of 4. Well, again, well, all of these prayers again are in italics, so supposedly that's written down someplace, which again amazes me. On if she was all by herself, so they all wrote down their prayers and stuff. I don't know. I have no idea. It's just a tale. Again, with the Israelites now again in peril in another country. Uh, according to what we've read before. This one Persian king, eventually let the Israelites go again, and appreciated their God, and actually started to believe in their God, because there was this one other guy that okay. And here in Esther, we're getting this kind of confusing account of something, and all I can say again is. These are someone's prayers. Are they? Have they actually been? Uh, and all I hear is protect us and kill the others. Right? Yet the root of the conflict is never really addressed. Right? Yes? And it sounds to me like Esther was raised in a way where she just obeys. Right? Yes, but it sounds to me she didn't really want to become queen. They just had to do all with just her outside, the way she looked, this and that, and nobody knew she's a Jew. I'd say they by now. I mean, if it's all okay, wouldn't the king know by now? Hey, the queen is really distressed over this killing all these Jews. So I'm not sure what a woman in that case can do, because it seems that king at that time, Ahasuerus, didn't hold women in high regard except for one thing, his pleasure. So, oh no, I guess we'll find out more. But there it is. Yes. The root, the cause, the root of a conflict. It's in families the same thing, right? People accuse each other of doing things, or this or that, and forget. Okay, well, how did this all start? And who should take responsibility to begin with? And oh, if I would not have done this, then maybe certain other things would not have happened. Well, it's already happened. Well, then one takes responsibility for the beginning of a conflict, and one starts there to fix it. Yes, isn't it? And oftentimes, I think that suddenly somebody gets accused of something that, if one looks a little deeper, then oh, that person actually is not the root of the problem. Anyway, I saw something. A scientist of that had a scientist that dealt with microbes and viruses and all that stuff said that when you're a scientist, uh, what did it say? With little knowledge, kind of, then you will become, or knowledge just on the surface, that you'll become an atheist. But if you are a scientist who studies deeper into things, you and gain greater knowledge, then you start to believe in God. Yeah, interesting. This isn't the first time I've seen this of scientists who, um, I guess, studied long enough this that had to say, well, the origin of everything has a different root than what we're being told. We're only scratching the surface. And then when you go deeper and acknowledge the wonders, what creation is all about, the creation, earth, and all that, then you have to acknowledge a higher power that had to be at work. It can't be explained any other way, really, when it comes down to it. Yes, I find that interesting. And I read that, I'm going, yeah, I know that. I'm not even a scientist. I'm nothing of nothing, and I know that. um, I remember on how the Christians after Jesus' death, right? They had the catacombs and where they were worshiping God, or and but otherwise they kind of had to keep everything okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go along with the rest of the people, otherwise, right? So they could keep their life. Is that kind of does that sound like they're deceiving God, kind of double play or whatever? I don't think so. But and then look on how it has prevailed, how Christianity has prevailed. It's pretty amazing to me. Many gave their lives there in arenas and I don't know what, right? Yes. Yeah. Here it seems like the Jews are a little bit in the same position where you're gonna have to make a decision on whose side are you gonna be on, and or whose side. Uh, Mordecai, with his kind of high status there in the royal court as well, how come he's not witnessing? Yeah, it's kind of hard to witness to a king like that. I get that. But again, if one truly believes that, oh, but I've got this support, this great support behind me, then why not believe then in the power of God? Why does it always have to come down to these dire straits situations where then suddenly, oh, well, wait a minute, we got one more to pray to? It's a bit sad to me. Yes. Well, anyway. So there it is. I don't have much more to say. My head's still a little cloudy. Um, I'm hearing a lot of stuff out there in the world about, oh, people making predictions and this and that. I just like to, again, caution people with things like that. Um, Again, where lies the root of the either conflict or success? And to make predictions out there for one thing or another, right? Yes, I could mention a couple of things right now, but most of our lives are not run today by the government or any kind of organization. We run our own life in families. So I always bring up the family structure. That's what you pay attention to, and that's what you hope to build upon. And that's my best advice out there. Because if you listen to everything else out there, or anything else, you're going to be influenced in a way that then clouds your own judgment, and your actions or what you're saying yourself is just going to lead more people into what? The wrong direction. I find that to be true with again what we read today in Esther. Mordecai's leading Esther into the wrong direction, I believe. Right? Or he's not telling her the whole truth, right, on why this conflict all started. And Mordecai himself in his prayer acknowledges, oh, I did this, but I did it because, right, he's making an excuse for it. As if, well, I was right. Yeah, well, now a whole race is going to get attacked, or it looks like. Anyway, for one little thing he didn't do, right, or wasn't willing to do, right? Yes. People do so many things just on the surface, right? Yes. Well, bowing to people in certain continents, on certain continents and countries, just a regular saying hello. You just say, oh, sure, hello, Haman. Who cares? Yes. He wasn't thinking that far. Yeah, okay. So there's that. I gotta blow my nose again, so I'm gonna finish up. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.